I dropped out of school and became a teacher. Welcome to the Curly Carbocation channel, where I teach you about chemistry in college in ways that you're not traditionally told about. So make sure you subscribe because I publish every Sunday afternoon. And let's get into the video. I know it definitely sounds confusing about me being a dropout of college and then going into school, or becoming a teacher rather. And the way that I did that is I actually had an associate's degree. So I did finish up community college, but I did not finish up university for the reason that I got extremely sick, and this was during COVID time, and my state was getting desperate for teachers. So what did they do? They lowered the standards, as you do when you're desperate. People with associate's degrees could become emergency substitute teachers, and they sent in my application. I got interviewed, and I was apparently the unanimous decision, because this was for a high school math teacher at an alternative high school who was going on paternity leave, and he was teaching Algebra I, Geometry, and Algebra II. I cannot stress enough how much purpose I was given as a result of being a teacher. Like, my dreams were crushed because I could not finish up my senior year of chemical engineering. I was supposed to graduate with my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and that was taken away from me. And I am so grateful. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like, I would get sick all over. I would get worse sick all over again if it meant that I got to become a teacher again, because it transformed me that much. You know that verse, and I'll stick it at the end of this video, but it's Proverbs 3 verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And that is for sure. That is for sure. Just going back into school, but in a teaching standpoint, gave me a whole new perspective on learning. My main job as a teacher wasn't to teach trigonometry. It wasn't to teach geometry. It wasn't to teach algebra. My purpose was to take care of these kids, to make them feel safe, to make sure that they end up being decent adults that respect themselves and respect each other. And that whenever they want advice, they can always come to me, they can always ask, and I'm willing to give advice to them. Because now you've got someone who's looking up to you, who's seeing, are you real? Are you actually authentic? Because I can sniff that out. If you're not authentic, I'm going to tell everyone, and I'm going to lose my respect for you. How can you rebuild that? Like, that's not easily mendable. That's one of the things that gave me purpose, was that, like, I have to be the example. The other thing was that I got to see firsthand the factors contributing to poor education. So there are three things that I want to go over: bad teachers, bad curriculum, and bad parents. So with bad teachers, they're typically ones that, like, they don't care. They're clearly just at school for a check. And, like, if you go up to them, they can answer you, but they don't give that aura, they don't give you that energy that they actually want to help you. And making yourself presentable, making yourself approachable is so vital as a teacher. You can't just be like, oh, well, they should come up to me if they need help. Are you someone that they want to go up to in the first place? My students, my math students, came up to me asking me, what should I wear to my job interview? I don't really have a lot of clothes. My other students, where should I go to buy bed sheets? We're moving to a new apartment. That wasn't a math question, but I know exactly what to tell her, because I was just buying bed sheets for my dorm from the semester that I dropped out of. You have to make sure that you are approachable. You can't just be a teacher and expect to, like, disseminate information and the kids retain it 100%. The other bad teacher side are incompetent teachers. So these are people who aren't strong enough in math skills to understand that there is nuance in the way that you can approach a problem. And typically these people don't understand that math is hard. The number of people I have seen who have taken algebra, or they understand some trigonometry, they're like, oh, well, I know how to solve problems, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you have never been broken by Calc 1 yet. I don't want to hear you telling me that, like, oh, well, these kids should know. No, they don't. I hate algebra, and I use it all the time in engineering class. Why would I belittle a child for not being able to solve a math problem when it's literally my job to teach it to them? Let's move on to bad curriculum. This one is going to be a long section because this is the most powerful part of school being so bad. Whenever I was reading through some materials, through some curricula, and I had seen some patterns because I had been tutoring online, so I can see math across like several states. These were clearly written by lifetime academics who have never stepped outside of their professor's office. This is the issue with this. So there's this opportunity path. You got a nice GPA that gets you more opportunities. But GPA is like a beauty standard. Do you know that halo effect where a beautiful person is seen as nicer, more competent, and more trustworthy? That's why they are hired more and they are offered more raises. There's a lot of assumptions with beauty because we see someone beautiful, we think the rest of them must be beautiful too. Unless you're a woman and you look at a beautiful person and you're like, you can discern, you're like, she's fake, right? And people don't have that like, she's fake when it comes to GPA, because GPA is a beauty standard. Your GPA assumes that you were taught properly, you were tested in a properly challenging way, and that your teachers graded you correctly and in full honesty. It projects that you're hardworking, you're knowledgeable, and that you're a good investment whenever you go to get hired. But that's not always the case. With a high GPA, that doesn't necessarily mean you're employable. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good communicator. It means that you can pass class and that you can answer questions correctly. And yeah, you might be knowledgeable on the subject, but are you able to teach it properly? Being a great academic who passes classes, you have more opportunities available to you because it's assumed that you're knowledgeable and that you were properly challenged, right? But with those opportunities, like grad school, and now you can write textbooks, there's a lot of influence here, and this is where it gets dangerous. If you're not being properly challenged in the market now, you're going to continue creating bad curriculum, and all these students, all these middle schoolers and high schoolers who have a very parental-child relationship with authority, they just assume that you're correct and that they're stupid and that they're not going to be successful, and really you just wrote poorly. Was it tested with students? Like, video games are game tested. Were these not run by students who were in underprivileged areas? Like, I would conduct that kind of testing with my textbooks before I send it out in the world and then embarrass myself. And now you got your name stamped on there. Yeah, that's embarrassing. You don't know how to communicate with people. Like, you were just so much of an academic. You never stepped outside of school. And of course, school validates you because you're awkward, but you don't know how to talk to people. And you write things that aren't helpful for people. So like all the time when I was teaching, I'd be looking through these. I'm like, I'm not teaching this. I have seen in high school and in middle school textbooks words and vernacular that my college professors of engineering would not even dare to use. When it comes to children, good intentions are not good enough. Good intentions get you in a place where the kid resents you because you did not put forth the effort to actually teach them well. And if there are not good enough teachers who are good enough at the math to comb through the curriculum and say like, this is crap, why would I ever give this to my students? And just to make you feel even worse, my chemical engineering specific professors would actually write their own homework. So let's go on to bad parents. This pisses me off the most. I love teaching. I have infinite patience for my students, and I have zero patience for their stupid parents. Zero patience. Because you're telling me that this grown person who is supposed to be, supposedly, allegedly, the protector of this child, who I apparently value more in my classroom, that is very concerning. I treat it as such an honor that their parents were sending them to me to teach them. Because to me, that's a parent saying, I don't have the skills, I don't have the time, and I really can't afford to be at home to teach my kids. So please handle my child with care. That's how I treat every one of my students. That's what their parents are asking of me. And just hearing the crap that my students go through, some parents need to get slapped across the face. Because y'all are so immature And y'all are expecting your child to be your therapist, expecting your child to validate your pain, when all you're doing is inflicting that same pain that you have onto your child. You need to take care of your healing first. You need to go on a walk. You need to go work out. You need to go get some girlfriends. Your 14-year-old is not going to be your support system. Your 14-year-old cannot be your confidant. Your 17-year-old is not your best friend forever. I make sure that when I'm in the classroom, I'm friendly with the kids because I want them to be able to approach me whenever they need help. But like, I keep a very clear authority in the classroom. I'm not your friend. I am here to teach you. It is my job to take care of you, and I have your best interests at heart, even when you don't like it. I don't care if you're mad at me. I don't care if a 15-year-old's mad at me. What the heck? Some of these parents are just so sensitive, and they expect everyone to cater to them, especially their children, for whatever reason. You're their protector. And I'll bring this up from Proverbs again. I don't remember exactly where in Proverbs, but it says that parents are the pride of their children, not the other way around. So are you worth being proud of? Like, why are you trying so hard to like get your child's approval? That's a child. Okay? My sweet girl, one of them, she brought up a story because I was joking around in class. Can y'all be my dependents because I don't want to pay taxes? Just a joke, right? And she brings this thing up where her parents would drag her into this because they were divorced. They were basically asking her, who do you love more? Because only one parent can claim the child for tax deductions. And I'm like, Miss Girl, you are 16 years old. How long have your parents been doing this? And this child had a history of academic discipline. The first time she had like a really big disciplinary action against her, my first thought wasn't like, oh my gosh, you bad kid. I was like, who is the adult in your life that gives you access to such things? I was just so astounded. And because she's very smart. She's one of the smartest kids in my class. And her parents were not mature enough to handle finances without dragging their little kid into that. Just seeing the environments that my students were in at home, I would just take care of them if I could. Like for Pi Day, I came to class with pies because that's what I'm supposed to do as a math teacher. Pi Day is Christmas for math. I brought Fig Newtons because of Newton, and then like Rice Krispies because in calculus, whenever you take the derivative with respect to time of position, the 5th, 6th, and 7th derivatives are snap, crackle, and pop. Displacement, velocity, acceleration, jerk, snap, crackle, pop. And I just do that because I like to find reasons to celebrate. I think it's fun. Who doesn't want to have a little bit of fun? People are already depressing. More on this point, like with bad parents. When children are involved, it's no longer about you. Forget you. Okay, forget you now. It's no longer about you. It's about your child. They deserve your absolute best every single day. You're not providing any deliverables, there's no deadline or whatever, but every single day they deserve your absolute best. So you need to do everything you can to make sure that you are in a good position to give them your absolute best. And I hear this excuse all the time. I'm not a perfect mom. I never claimed to be a perfect mom. That's your freaking excuse to not apologize to your kid. Nobody asked you to be perfect because nobody is perfect. But why are people acting better than you when no one is perfect? That's not an excuse. Apologize to your kid for ruining their lives. My goodness. Your children deserve your absolute best even when you're tired. Suck it up. Like I told you, I would be so tired. I'd just be asleep and I don't want to go to school. But I'm the teacher, so I have to be at school. I can't just call a sub. That requires planning. I don't want to go to school, but I have to because the kids need their education. This other thing. Teenagers, they still require a ton of guidance, and I've seen a lot of people really impatient with teenagers because they're bigger, they smell bad, and they have bigger vocabulary, and they might even have jobs like adults do. That's a child. You taught them how to tie their shoes. You taught them, 1, 2, 3s and ABCs, right? But now it's the time to teach them about like what to expect from a good boss. What does a good relationship look like? And if that wasn't modeled, if you were unable to model that for your child, tell them what went wrong so they know what to avoid in the future and they can spot it from a mile away. Because kids listen to that. Okay, they act like they don't listen because they want to look cool. So what? So what if they need to save their ego? That's a child. Let them save their ego. Okay? I'm not gonna let a 13-year-old make me feel bad because like, oh no, they don't want to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. I'm the adult. I'm the grown-up here. You gotta act like a grown-up too. Far be it from me to make students who get manipulated by managers over at the mall that I worked at. Far be it from me to let my students walk out of my classroom without any self-respect. Some of y'all need to care more about your kids. And it's really disappointing if you don't. If you cannot be the example to your child, you lose their respect. And how will you be able to effectively teach? How will you be able to effectively guide when they don't respect you? And being a respectable person is on you. If your child doesn't respect you, that's your fault. You weren't respectable to begin with. Work on it. Last thing I want to bring up is that when it comes to children, you have to defend them. Defend each and every child. I did that in my own classroom. Whenever people are harming children verbally, I hate that so much. I remember like the teacher is just like speaking so poorly to my students and I'm like, excuse you, who are you to say this to my child when I'm the authority on this subject? You're the assistant. You're here to assist in supervising. You're trying to belittle them because they don't know the quadratic equation. I couldn't even do that until I was like in organic chemistry. Okay? Whenever my kids were getting sassed by another teacher, I would sass that teacher right back in front of them because I know that these kids are depending on me to be the authority that protects them. And if I did not step in to defend them, I lose their respect. They're going to have more trust issues in the future, and I'm not going to be the reason that my students have trust issues. You have to be active in defending your children. Some of y'all are too immature. Too immature. If you have been unreliable and untrustworthy because you're not safe, they're not going to respect you, and they're going to find that safety somewhere else. Usually in the form of sex, drugs, and alcohol. That was your fault. That was your fault. Sometimes kids find safety in the form of academic excellence, where they're in control of what the outcome is, so they work so hard to be proud of something, and they're going to build a life without you. They're going to build their success without you. And whenever you say, I'm so proud of you, it's going to be too late. And you weren't there to defend them. You weren't there to protect them. You weren't there to guide them because you were so focused on your own self, your own traumas. You decided not to go through healing. And you're blaming everything on your kids for existing. Screw you. Clearly, I have zero patience for adults. That's why I love teaching so much. I get to be so fiery. I'm already fiery. But now I can put that fire to use. I dedicate my life to education because I see that there is a lack. There is a need. And we need good teachers. We need good curriculum. And I can't affect everyone all at the same time. But I was able to help out my students. And it brought me joy every single day to be a teacher. I hope this video inspired you, and if you're thinking about becoming a teacher, I hope that this pushed you in that direction. If you dropped out of school, I hope this encouraged you to not give up. If you need more encouragement, I'm going to link in here a playlist of all of my college dropout stuff. It's a whole series on being a college dropout. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click here so that you can enjoy more videos.